Hello and welcome to Daily Current Affairs by Ekam IAS. Today is 17th August 2019 and the topics for discussion are India's Nuclear Doctrine, Ordnance Factory Board, No India Program KIP, then BRICS, Map Aided Program and previous year question revision series. Now coming to the first topic, which is India's Nuclear Doctrine. Now this is in news because our Defence Minister has said that the future of India's no first use policy on nuclear weapons depends upon the circumstances that are present right now. Okay. Now we'll talk about India's nuclear doctrine. Okay. Now India's nuclear doctrine was first enunciated in January 2003. Now there are three main pillars of the doctrine. The first one is no first use, then credible minimum deterrence, and finally civilian control. Civilian control, which means here the body is going to be Nuclear Command Authority, NCA. Now we'll talk about the features of India's nuclear doctrine. The first feature will be building and maintaining a credible minimum deterrent. Here it means that a minimum deterrence is created so that other countries will not have the tendency to go and attack first, because they will know India also has a nuclear weapon and it can retaliate and cause even to the same extent of damage or even worse damage if the other country attacks first. Then is posture of no first use nuclear weapons will only be used in retaliation against a nuclear attack in Indian territory or Indian forces anywhere. This means that there won't be first use of nuclear weapons. It means no first use. That is, India will not start a nuclear war on its own. It will only retaliate to a nuclear attack that has been given to us. Okay. Then is nuclear retaliation to a first strike will be massive and designed to inflict unacceptable damage. That is, if there is a nuclear attack on India, India will retaliate in such a fashion that it will try to devastate everything that is there in the other country. That is how massive the retaliation from India will be. Then the next feature is nuclear retaliatory attack can only be authorized by the civilian political leadership through the Nuclear Command Authority. The civilian nuclear political leadership here, which means comes under the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister is the one who will authorize attack of a nuclear kind. Then is non-nuclear weapons, non-use of nuclear weapons against non-nuclear states, which means if there is a non-nuclear state and is attacking us, we will not attack in a nuclear fashion, we will also continue attacking back in a non-nuclear fashion, because the non-nuclear state does not have any nuclear weapons. So therefore, for any attack that they do in the first hand, we will also attack back in a non-nuclear fashion. Now, in the event of a major attack against India or Indian forces anywhere by biological or chemical weapons, India will retain the option of retaliating with nuclear weapons. That is, if there is a biological or chemical attack, India will consider that should it use a nuclear weapon as a retaliatory measure, because biological and chemical weapons are dangerous here. In fact, it can spread very vast and it can cause unimaginable amount of damage if used in the right way. So here the retaliation the option for nuclear retaliation is considered. Now a continuance of strict control on export of nuclear and missile related materials and technologies, participation in the fissile material cutoff treaty negotiation, and continued observance of moratorium on nuclear tests. So it is not going to allow the spread of nuclear technology or nuclear material technology. Then is the continued commitment to the goal of nuclear weapon free world through global, verifiable and non-discriminatory nuclear disarmament. Now here we will be talking about the Nuclear Command Authority. Okay. Now the Nuclear Command Authority, that is NCA, comprises of two councils. The first one is the Political Council and then comes the Executive Council. The Political Council is chaired by the Prime Minister and it is the sole body which can authorize the use of nuclear weapons. The Executive Council is chaired by the National Security Advisor, that is the NSA. As of now, the present National Security Advisor is Ajit Doval. It provides inputs for decision making by the Nuclear Command Authority and executes the directives given to it by the political council. That is the two profiles of the two councils and what is to be done and what is the job profile of both these councils. Now we'll talk about India and the nuclear test that it has conducted. Now the first nuclear test by India was conducted in 1974 under the Prime Ministership of Indira Gandhi. Now the test at that point of time was codenamed Smiling Buddha. Now keep that in mind. The code for the first nuclear test conducted by India was called Operation Smiling Buddha. That was conducted in the test range of Pokhran. Okay. Now then comes the second test, which was called Pokhran 2, and this was conducted in 1998. Okay. That operation was called Operation Shakti. Now 5 nuclear tests were conducted between 11 and 13th May in 1998. They were named Shakti 1 to 5 because 5 nuclear tests were conducted. There was Shakti 1, Shakti 2, Shakti 3, Shakti 4 and Shakti 5, each designation for each nuclear weapon that had been detonated. Okay. Now we'll come to the nuclear suppliers group. Now the nuclear suppliers group, that is the NSG, is a group of nuclear supplier countries that seeks to prevent the nuclear proliferation by controlling the export of materials, equipment and technology that can be used to manufacture nuclear weapons. Here it means that it is going to control or stop the spread of these technology and materials through which nuclear weapons can be created. It was set up in 1974 as a reaction to India's nuclear test. I told you Smiling Buddha was in 1974, and as a reaction to that, this nuclear suppliers group or NSG group was set up. Okay, and it was set up to stop what it called the misuse of nuclear material meant for peaceful purposes. That is why it was created. Now it seeks to control the export and retransfer of materials that may be applicable to nuclear weapon development. It also focuses on the improving safeguards and protection of the existing materials. Okay, now the NSG consists of a 48-member body, and the principles of this group is guided by consensus. Now signing the NPT, that is Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, or other nuclear moratoriums on testing is a prerequisite for the membership. So that is why India is not a part of NSG here, okay, because India has not signed the NPT. Now we'll talk about the NPT itself. Now the NPT, or the Non-Proliferation Treaty, is an international treaty which came into force in 1970. The NPT aims to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and weapon technology, to foster the peaceful use of nuclear energy and to further the goal of disarmament. Now India, Pakistan, South Sudan and Israel, these 4 countries have not signed NPT. Now we'll be coming to the next topic, which is the Ordnance Factory Board. Now this is a news because the Ministry of Defence clarifies that there is no proposal to privatize the Ordnance Factory Board. Now the Indian Ordnance Factories Organization is a family of 41 ordnance factories under the aegis of its corporate headquarters in Ordnance Factory Board, Kolkata. It possesses the unique distinction of over 200 years experience in defense production. Okay, so it means even before independence, this entity was there which produced weaponry. Now they engage in production, testing, logistics, research, development and marketing of comprehensive product range in an area of land, sea and air systems. The Indian Ordnance Factories is the oldest and the largest industrial setup with functions under the Department of Defence Production under the Ministry of Defence. The Ordnance Factories form an integrated base for the indigenous production of defence hardware and equipment, with the primary objective of self-reliance in equipping the armed forces with state-of-the-art battlefield equipments. Okay, so that is, it comes under the Ministry of Defence, and the main objective is to create weaponry and other systems so that the armed forces is equipped with the state-of-the-art weaponry and other systems so that they can perform their battle or perform their duty at the highest possible rate. Coming to the next topic, which is No India Program. Now this is a news because the 54th No India Program is scheduled from 1st August to 25th August 2019 in association with the partner states of Punjab and Haryana. Now we'll talk about the program. The Know India program is an important initiative of the Government of India with an aim to engage and make the students and young professionals of Indian diaspora in the age group of 18 to 30 years feel a sense of connect with their motherland and to be motivated and inspired by the transformation taking place in India. So understand, this is an initiative of the Ministry of External Affairs, okay, and it is basically aimed for the population that is outside India. That is why it's called the Indian diaspora, and the age group of the people here are 18 to 30 years. The students or the young professionals that are working outside India or studying outside India, for them this program has been made. Now, the objective of Know India program is also to give them an exposure to various aspects of contemporary India's art forms, heritage and culture, and to promote the awareness on different facets of life in India and to progress and the progress made by the country in various fields such as industry, education, science and technology, information and communication technology, climate and power and renewable energy. So all these areas to give them an exposure in these fields. Now, the Know India program is a 25-day orientation program organized by the Ministry of External Affairs. It is in partnership with one or two states, including visit to the states for 10 days. Now, since 2004, the ministry has conducted 53 editions of Know India program with participation of 1,821 overseas Indian youth. The participants are selected on the basis of nominations recommended by the Indian nations or post abroad. Now we'll come to the next topic, which is BRICS. Now this is in news because BRICS countries agreed to work together to resolve the multifaceted environmental issues faced by cities in the 5-nation association. Okay. Now BRICS, that's BRICS, is an acronym of the associated 5 major national economies. Now it consists of the countries of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Now all these 5 countries are part of the G20 members. Now G20 is the emerging countries, growing countries in the world. The chairmanship of the forum is rotated annually among the members in accordance with the acronym of BRICS, that is, initially they'll be from Brazil, then Russia, then India, then China and finally South Africa. That is how the chairmanship of the body rotates. Now the BRICS nations are accountable for 40% of the world's population and 30% of the world's GDP. In 2010, when China was holding the chair, it invited South Africa to join the group and then it became BRICS. That is, BRICS included South Africa in 2010. Before that, it was only called BRIC, B-R-I-C, and from 2010 it became BRICS because South Africa was also included. Now, here we are going to talk about the new development bank, that is now the NDB, which was formerly referred to as the BRICS Development Bank. It's a multilateral development bank established by the BRICS state. Now, it is headquartered in Shanghai, that is in China, and all the members of the United Nations could be members of the bank. Understand, it is not only for the BRICS countries, but also all the members of the United Nations are welcome. However, the share of the BRICS countries can never be less than 55% of the voting power. So that is a speciality here. Now we'll be talking about the BRICS Summit. The first independent summit took place in 2009 in Russia. The 10th summit of the BRICS group was held in Johannesburg, South Africa in 2018, and the 11th BRICS Summit is to be hosted in Brazil, that is in 2019, this year. Now we'll talk about the Johannesburg Declaration. Now the declaration reaffirms principles of democracy, inclusiveness and agrees to fight unilateralism and protectionism. Okay. Now the leaders jointly affirmed their commitment to the principles of mutual respect, sovereign equality, democracy, inclusiveness and strength collaboration. The BRICS leaders have used the summit to reject growing unilateralism and instead reiterate their commitment to the strengthening of multilateral institutions, calling for a stronger intra-trade within the member states. The declaration comes as the United States and China remain deadlocked over the trade war over tariff. So right now you know there is an issue between China and United States over a trade war that is happening right now. So here the BRICS countries are actually going against the policy of unilateralism and protectionism, wherein one country thinks only for itself and not accommodating, globalization, or just saying we are going to trade with nobody else and we're going to trade only with ourselves. So such issues are going to happen, and because of that, one of the issues is what we are facing right now is the trade war between US and China. Now we'll come to the map aided program. So today we'll be continuing with the mountain passes of Maharashtra. So the first one is the Chorla Ghat. Okay, now this is located on the intersection of the borders of Goa, Karnataka and Maharashtra. So understand its location where it is. Coming to the next Ghat, which is the Thal Ghat. Now Thal Ghat is a famous Ghat. Okay, now it is also called Thul Ghat or Kasara Ghat. Okay, now this is located in the Western Ghats near the town of Kasara in Maharashtra. It is located on the busy Mumbai-Nasik route and is one of the 4 major routes. And when I say 4 major routes, one of the major road and rail route leading to Mumbai. Now the railway line which passes through this ghat is the steepest in India. Okay, so that understand this, the steepest railway line in India is passing through this ghat. Now coming to the next one is Katraj Ghat. It is a mountain pass located in the southern outskirts of the city of Pune. Then comes Khambatki Ghat. Now it is a mountain pass on the Pune-Kolhapur section of National Highway 48 in Maharashtra. And finally, we reach the Kumbharli Ghat. Now this connects the coastal district of Ratnagiri in Konkan with the Satara district in the Desh region of Maharashtra. So that's all for the mountain passes in Maharashtra for today. Now we'll move to the next area, which is the previous year question revision series. Now today's question is this. Consider the following statements. The duration of monsoon decreases from southern India to northern India. Okay. Then the second statement, the amount of annual rainfall in the northern plains of India decreases from east to west. Now read the question, understand it, and then write the answer for it in the comment section below. Now we'll discuss the question that I had given to you yesterday. I'll read the question. A person stood alone in a desert on a dark night and wanted to reach his village, which was situated 5 kilometers east to the point of where he was standing. Okay, understand the direction in your mind. The village is located on the eastern direction. Now he had no instruments to find the direction, but he located the pole star. The most convenient way now to reach his village is A. Direction facing the pole star, B. Direction opposite to the pole star, C. Direction keeping the pole star to his left, and D. Direction keeping the pole star to his right. So understand this thing, it's a very simple question. Now the pole star will always point towards north, right? And the village that he wants to go is towards the eastern direction. So if he already knows if the pole star is pointing north, so he will go to the right direction from the pole star's direction, right? So once he goes to the right direction, the pole star relative to him will be on his left side, right? So therefore, just using this common sense, we'll come to know the answer for this question is option C. And that's a very simple question that we have to deal with today. So that's all for today. If you have any doubts or queries, you can write down in the comment section below. Thank you.